But let's go over the reveal that Games Workshop posted on the Warhammer community website on March 27th, the day they announced it at Adepticon. This is going to be packaged as a boxed set. It's a battalion box. You're going to get 50 miniatures. You're going to get 30 Jade Warriors, so 2 units of 15 or 3 units of 10. And then you're going to get Jade Lancers, and you're going to get 2 artillery pieces. And I believe and that's it. They have also announced some other sort of like heroic units that you could also add to your army. So what you basically have is a starter kit. Let's start with the Jade Warriors. I think these look really, really fucking cool. Like, I absolutely love them. Like, to me, this is just like Han Dynasty armor. And I love the sculpts. I want Asian representation on the tabletop, and this is what I look for.
And I really appreciate them actually including a few G in some of the pole arms that are displayed, rather than entirely using like very bare spears.
Yes.
Where we call them Chanling Chinese, like you see those side.
They're like curved.
Yeah, the blades on the side. Yeah, and those are actually like for us Chinese, we actually name them slightly with a different name, and yeah, seeing them being represented is actually a very cool thing to see.
They could have gone the route of just giving everyone Guandao and you just for like that Asian sort of recognition. But I do agree with you with like the variation in the kinds of weapons they have, because for our listeners, if you go and you look up like just the history of Chinese pole arms, there's like a huge variety of them. Like dagger axes, they're so cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Drew, what are your thoughts on the Jade Warriors unit?
Oh, they're sexy.
Yeah.
That's all I got, really.
Yeah, they're really good.
I mean, ditto. I mean, I feel like we have yet to see miniatures of this quality for anything like Chinese related on tabletop. So to see such high quality miniatures is just really exciting to me.
Yeah, 100%. The same with the Jade Lancers, the cavalry unit.
Yeah,
like it's like heavy.
You actually do see the Guandao there.
You see the Guandao there, but it would make sense, like this like curved spear for like slashing.
Yeah, it is a cavalry saber.
Well, and even like the cannons, like those cannons are bombastic. There's no way
this is
they're
a fantasy
real.
game, though.
But there are examples of cannons like them, much smaller in size, but that have the dragons, like bronze dragons, built around the actual gun barrel.
Yeah.
I was reading an article where they mention that I think in like 1875, some Russian photographers took a photo of a gun like that, and it's incredible.
Yeah, like there's the Grand Cannon, which is really cool. The Fire Rain rocket battery, which is another cannon that shoots like fireworks, because like they shot fireworks as like missiles off of the Great Wall in historic China. Like I think this is super cool. I like how the sculpts are like dynamic and unique for all of the like the operators of the cannons. You've got like one of them is I think they're supposed to be an Ogren, and then like 3 humans. Mm-hmm. The next one, it does not come with the battalion box set, is the Shugengan Lord on Great Spirit Longma. This is where I think there is some blending, because as we've talked about in the past with Oriental Adventures and Karatur, the Shugengan in Cathay appears to be derived, actually is like quite obviously derived from Japanese Shugenja, which folks will recognize as something that's used as a spell casting class in various editions of D&D and Legend of the Five Rings. But this does come from Japan. But there was cultural contact between the two. So, and this is fantasy.
In the context of Cathay, the Shugengan are dragon-blooded, so they are descendants, whether distant or recent, of dragons. So they have some amount of dragon blood in them.
Yeah, and for that sort of Shugenga and Shugenja that comes from this sort of like Japanese sort of Buddhist religion.
Yeah.
Um, but I
The
think the sculpt
mini
is really cool.
the mini that I hope we get to see, because I love him so much, is a miniature of this guy that the wrong person. Said that to the wrong person.
Of which
Is
guy?
this guy in our chat.
Hmm.
Oh, cool. And is that the cannon that you found that you were talking about?
Yep.
Sick. Oh, that guy's pretty cool. He's got like a Warhammer.
He's got a giant hammer.
What's
Uh,
that character?
That's the Celestial General.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
cool. I'm sure they are because after they showed the preview of this Great Spirit Longma Lord, first of all, I do love the paint job. It's really neat that Games Workshop. I've noticed this. They've got the non-metallic metal painting now on the Guandao, which you don't see on a lot of GW stuff now. They have these Gate Masters of the Celestial Cities, another cool unit. I really like the banners on these. I think they're really cool. One thing that I really appreciate is that they didn't put any fake Chinese on it in terms of writing, because we've seen that in other fantasy depictions of China. They will try to create fake Chinese.
Speaking of fake Chinese, so I was looking up the Chinese translation for Shugengan,
Yes.
and they actually did a really good job. Like, if you speak Chinese only and never speak English at all, you will never realize that it comes from a term that came from that is more from Japanese. It's Xiuyan Qing, and the last character Qing is actually denoting the Basically, he's a magistrate in
That's very
equivalent
cool.
in China.
That's super cool, and that kind of, I guess, aligns with the lore for this, because for this Shugengan Lord, they say over the years, the celestial dragon and his children have sired a great many descendants. These are the Shugengan Lords, mortals touched with just a little of their sire's power, warrior generals who proudly lead from the front, masters of martial arts and the elemental winds of magic. They sometimes ride the great spirit Longma, majestic creatures with savage iron talons and a crown of horns. Kind of reminds me of a Kirin or Qilin.
This is the first time I'm somewhat agreeing with a design where the body that looks very similar to a long growing wings.
Yeah, it's very cool. To me, it's like the head. Oh, I just love the design. The next one is where we're going to get more fantastical, because this is, Warhammer. It's the Sky Lantern. It looks like it's literally a blimp. And it's awesome. But what's really cool about it is that they have characters on the Sky Lantern with grenades and rifles, like rudimentary rifles. I love that gunpowder is a part of this, because you see that in a lot of other armies in the world of Warhammer, and I love how they're incorporating that into Cathay. Even though Cathay has a lot of magic and stuff like that, they still have gunpowder.
At the very beginning of the episode, we discussed you read in the sort of intro, there was a phrase that they use gunpowder, but they do not. But Cathay does not fully appreciate or utilize it. Whatever the wordage was.
It says that the largest state is Imperial Cathay, where gunpowder technology is known but not fully exploited, which is reflected in all these miniatures here. They have it, but they're not all musketeer units.
Yeah,
right. It makes sense, but I like that there are some firearm units in this.
Yeah. And honestly, this Sky Lantern is really shaped similar to a combing lantern.
Yes.
Which is probably, now I think about it, is probably also why they call them combing. The upgraded unit, the combing Sky, what's it called again? Sky Ship.
They called. Let's see.
Sky Junk.
They're called
Sky. There we go.
Sky Junks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then second last one was the Cathayan Sentinel. This thing is this like giant automaton, this golem. But it is super cool. It's got like a double-bladed guandao with the blades facing in like separate directions because you could spin this thing. But this is a very, very cool mini.
So the Terracotta Sentinels date back to when the Great Bastion was built, and so they used to be in mass. Now there's not quite as many of them, but what's really cool is that they are dotted around the landscape of Cathay, and there are like little short stories and stuff, like little snippets where it talks about how like, oh, demons invaded my village, and when all hope was lost, the towering construct at the center of my village came to life and defended us.
There are going to be listeners of the podcast who are like, that's like the Iron Golem in my Minecraft village.
Just bigger.
Just bigger and way cooler. They then, on this article in Warhammer Community, they then show the army book. It's called Arcane Journal, Armies of Grand Cathay, and the cover is incredible. And we know that the cover and the art was done by a Chinese artist in-house in Games Workshop, which fills me with so much joy. And lastly,
I will say...
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, the sad thing about the Arcane Journal is that it's only going to be 48 pictures, 48 pages.
48 pictures. Yeah, because
it's going to be a small book.
It's going to be a small book because you're going to need the core Warhammer Old World.
I know, but what I was hoping was for like a codex-sized book where there's tons of lore and tons of flavor.
Yeah. I guess maybe they just. I mean, we know that they aren't working with a lot of lore.
Yeah, I was hoping now would be their time to like bust on out of there.
Well, here's the thing: a 48-page book is easy for us to do in one episode of Agents Represent.
Yeah, that's true.
A 100-page book though is content.
Yeah, 100-page book is content.
Look, 100 pages is just 2 episodes.
yeah, 100 pages, 2 episodes. Or
150,
you know what?
3 episodes.
Or I was going to say 48-page book is an entire 10-episode season. Let's just do it. But yeah, I'm very excited to pick up this book. And I can't wait to go through it. We're going to talk about it on the podcast again. And lastly, one of the most epic like minis that they've revealed is actually Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon. Like, what do you guys think of this?
Ain't no Yuan Bo.
For now.
The dragon form, I was not expecting there to be armor at the stomach area for the dragon form.
Yeah, for our listeners, so you get 2 minis. You get Miao Ying, and it's a really cool sculpt because she's kind of like floating above her base, and there are these rocks kind of like underneath her. It's almost like she's like lifting these rocks in this sort of like geometric shape. And then there's like a transform version, which is like a purple obsidian colored like dragon. It's like a Chinese dragon, but it's got 4 legs that are like quite long. And it's got like a headpiece around this sort of like array of horns, and then a chest piece. So there's like almost like a breastplate with 2 shoulder pauldrons on it.
Yeah, I do love the pattern on the shoulder pauldron because they basically are the cloud. A very stereotypical cloud pattern you'll see in a lot of like Chinese
Chinese art. Yeah,
for sure.
And as the storm dragon, it makes a lot of thematic sense.
Yeah, and just these 2 statues minis are so dynamically.
They're so good, and I am going to be buying them. I can't wait, and it will take me ages to paint. Overall, these minis are a 10 out of 10 for me. They are a 10 out of 10. I can't wait for this to come out. I looked online to see if there's any information about when they would be released, and most folks are speculating that they'll come out after Games Workshop's fiscal year ends. And so there's speculation that these armies will come out late summer, early fall. So we don't have that much time to wait. Enough time to start saving up to buy this because I am hyped. And then for Breakout Con 2026, you come over, Drew. We'll be playing Cathay versus Cathay.
Hell yeah. I can bring some other stuff. I have plenty of other things.
No. Cathay on Cathay crime. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay, yeah.
we could take we could be different celestial dragons, different Cathayan dragon lords fighting each other with our
That is
armies.
true. That is true.
We'll make it all
we can just
narrative.
combine the two forces, do like 2,000 versus 2,000. I just bring my half so you can have that half to also play with.
Oh,
Just do a bigger battle.
Cathay, and then my custodies.
I was
They just come in
Yeah.
two
I
different
was
games.
actually envisioning when Drew was like, oh yeah, Cathay versus Cathay, sure, and then brings the ninja Skavens.
Yes.
bring this in.
Yes. Ninja Rat.
Ninja Rat. Yeah, GW after this, they should just do Ninja Rats. And that's it. Oh, that'd be so neat.